Hello everyone! Today I am going to show some very special customs, and these are cool because you can have them too, and this is because these are all 3D printed. Now I should specify that what you see here isn't fully 3D printed. It's mostly just additions to official items that either turn them into something different or give them little finishing touches that give them something that maybe should have been there or has been missing. And you can have these two. I'm going to put links in the description to where you can download these. But don't do that just yet. Don't download them right now because I'm going to give some recommendations on, for example, how to print them because some of these have little requirements, and if you print them incorrectly, you're going to end up with something that doesn't work. And before I show all the customs, you might be thinking to yourself that if you don't have a 3D printer, you won't be able to print these customs. But you may not be just out of luck yet, because near me there are several services where you can have something 3D printed for money. And of course, I don't know if that's the case everywhere, but check Google Maps, maybe there's something near you and you can have it 3D printed too. So I am going to start with Glyn because he was the first custom that I made. The first 3D printed custom, I mean. So Glyn uses a cargo car as a chassis, and he is pretty much like a little cargo piece that you just put in, and here you have him. Of course, this does mean that he is a little bit wonky. His face is higher than it would have been preferable, but it's still good. In my opinion, it still works. And I gave him a paper face because it's the only kind of face that could fit on it, and also because I like using paper faces. And if you are going to paint his little details on him, remember not to put the number 1 here, because if you do that, it's not going to be visible. I made that mistake and I then had to fix it. And Glyn also has a little hole here. This is for a Brio driver or a Lego driver, but if he has a driver there, then he's not going to fit in tunnels, so yeah, it's kind of pointless, but it's still nice, I guess. Then we have Fred, the Scar Lower Airways number 9. Fred uses a flatbed from the breakdown train as his chassis, and I even made a hole here, I'm not sure if you can see it, to accommodate for the nails that are here. You can put him either way, so he can, for example, pull chains backwards, and Glyn can also do that. And he also has this hole for the driver, and yeah, he's also a pretty simple design, but of course I would recommend painting the vents here and those little details, because without them he does look a little bit plain. And his face, I based it on a Chains model of his that was made to look like a Season 4 model. It's not my ideal take on Fred, but I think it suits this customer. And he also has a little Easter egg on his buffer beam, and if you know anything about his bases, Elf, then you probably understand why he has a Autobot logo on his buffer beam. And another thing I forgot to say about the snow machine, and also Neil and Fred, is that if you are going to paint them like this, and not, for example, like this or like this, it's probably going to be difficult to remove the supports here. For those who aren't familiar with 3D printing, if you print something that has empty spaces like this, it's going to fill them with support so that the things above them don't collapse while it's printing. And they can be hard to remove if the model is constructed like this, because imagine that these are the supports, and well, it's going to be difficult to remove. So what I recommend them, is that you basically do this with a screwdriver that has this, hold on, yeah, now it's focused, with a screwdriver that has this thing on its head. and just do this. Why isn't it focusing? Do this until you slowly start moving the things. It doesn't take very long if you know what to do, and it's really not complicated. And if you don't have a screwdriver that looks like this, then I don't know, maybe use a knife for well, maybe not a knife. I'm not really sure what else to use, but I'm sure that there are many household items that can be used for this. And as you can see, it really can be removed. It just needs some extra work. Okay, next we have Terence's snowplow. This is a little bit special because most of the customs here are for wooden railway. This one is for motorized or trackmaster. And it's really just a snowplow that you give Terence so that he is complete. For some reason they didn't give him a snowplow in the CGI series, or Engines Go W, I guess. But yeah, this was also surprisingly easy to design, but it was also hard to print. There were several failed attempts. For example, the first one, it didn't have these things, so that means that he has to look either like this or like this, and it's not correct like this. And the snowplow also can't really do the lifting thing, but I think that's okay because, well, you just need him to push it. And you may have noticed that the front of the plow has been printed a little bit weirdly. That's because I had this specific plow printed like this. And that's not a good idea because it's going to end up looking like this. So I think the best choice would be to have it just painted like this, but I'm really not sure because I haven't made that attempt. This plow was painted like this, and that's probably what caused these things not to get painted. But its front is perfect, so I don't know. And also there is this little thing here that's clay because I accidentally snapped this plow, but I don't think that's an issue with the model itself. I just was a little bit careless, I guess. Next, we have something that I believe is going to be very useful, because a lot of us who have Elizabeth or Isabella or Maximonte have probably lost their tipper pieces, and this is a replacement. And I'm not sure how noticeable that is, but I'm sure that from a distance, or if you don't know that this is 3D printed, you wouldn't have guessed that this isn't the original. So of course I lost mine Elizabeth's tipper piece also, and the replacement was probably the most complex item I designed because it has all these little details on it, and I have to thank a user whose name I unfortunately don't remember right now, so I'm just going to put a text here when I'm editing this, saying their name. Thank you so much. This wouldn't have been possible without you. And my tipper also has a special feature, which isn't actually really that special because the original had it too, but it's special because I managed to give this, well, a feature, by feature. It still tips when you press this button, because the original had a magnet in it, and if you press this it automatically lifts, and I put a magnet in this too. Unfortunately I made the hole a little bit too small, so when I pushed it in, it cracked a little, the tip. I'm not sure if you can see it well, but yeah. If you want this tip piece, but you either don't want the magnet hole to be there, or you want me to make it smaller or bigger to accommodate whatever magnets you have at home, feel free to message me and I'm going to give you the tipper that you want. And I also made Isabella's tipper. I don't have Isabella that I could test this on, but it still works. But I didn't put a magnet in this because, well, it's a lot smaller. So yeah. Before I move to the next custom, I need to mention something that I've forgotten. I recommend that you paint these two items sideways, because if you do it like this, Then these things at the bottom which connected to Elizabeth and Isabella, they probably aren't going to print correctly, unless of course you use very special 3D printer. I was using a standard one. So yeah, print them like this, it's going to help you a lot. Of course, this does mean that, for example, the bottom of them is going to be a little bit funky, you can see it here, but it's definitely better than if they just, so yeah, don't worry. Then we have Peter Sam's new and drain pipe funnels. I have made two versions of the special funnel and one of the drain pipe funnel. So I'm going to show the drain pipe first. It's just a little circle thing that you slide on top of his funnel like this. And I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't have the ropes that go from the funnel to his running board, but I wasn't really sure how to do that, so I just didn't. And I have made two versions of the special funnels, one bigger and one smaller. This is what the bigger looks like. I don't know, it feels a little bit too big, but the small one, on the other hand, feels a little bit too small, I think. I think I like the small one more, but I am going to include both of these in the model so that you can paint both and then decide. And this, Peter Sam, is the one with the wooden funnel. And you might be thinking, what about the one with the plastic funnel? Because maybe it's a little bit different. And I don't know if it's different size. I assume not, but I have this smudger. And his smoke box and funnel appear to be roughly the same size. So I am just going to take a guess that his smoke box is the same piece as the one on Peter Sam. And if that's the case, then I can confirm that the special funnels still work on a plastic smoke box and on the plastic funnel. Okay, next, I have Neil. So of course, Neil does have a wooden airway model, but it's a little bit rare to find for a good price. So I just made my own that uses Rocky's back car as a chassis. Unfortunately, this does mean that there is this little, well, the middle thing on Rocky's car is just visible, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but there's not a lot I can do with that, and at least it's not too distracting, I guess. And you may have also noticed that there is a little hole between the red thing and the top of his tank. That this is just on the prototype model, which is this one, but I have fixed it on the final model so that the hole isn't there. And yeah, I guess it does look a little bit better, and it also gives you more room to paint the number 2. But back to my finished Neil. So of course, like with all my customs, I also gave him a buffer beam and buffers, and his face is again just a sticker. And I didn't have room to give him a Brio driver, but I did have room to give him these Lego studs for a Lego driver. But unfortunately, it doesn't really clip very well, so yeah, they're kind of pointless, I guess. It's a shame, but, well, again, there's not a lot I can do there. Okay, my next custom is Gordon's snow machine, and this one can actually use 2 cars as a chassis. Either it can use the flatbed from the breakdown chain, or it can use Rocky's front car. I have given it both the holes for the flatbed nails on top and holes for the thing that is on Rocky's car. So I'm just going to show this one because this is the more finished version. The router is a separate piece that you have to glue on. I wasn't sure if it would print well if it was part of the main piece, so I just made it like that. And this was really hard to do, not because it's like a complex shape, but because there's almost no pictures of it and it's really hard to tell what the shape of it is. And I also wrote here, do not photograph, as a reference to how little pictures of there are, so that perhaps there would be a in universe reason for why so little pictures of it exist, because I don't know, maybe it's some secret government project and they don't want the public to see it. I don't know. This is a very silly headcanon. So anyways, I gave it these vents and the leather. I did it on both sides, some rivets. I wrote Return to Tidmouth on both sides also. And of course, I gave it a number 05 as a reference to season 5. NW, which of course stands for Northwestern Railway or Nowhere Railway, depending on which you like more. And in this corner, it's really small, so it's not really well made, but this is supposed to be Gordon's face, which a workman drew on because Gordon likes this machine a lot. And I also drew this exhaust for the snow thing and buffers. And my final custom that I want to show right now is a big one. This is Carly from the TV series, but for the All Engines Go push along Carly. So of course, as you probably know, when All Engines Go made Carly, for some reason they made her a main character and also made her a train instead of a crane. So now she's Carly the train instead of Carly the crane. It's really weird. And the original Carly only got a couple toys, really only just one, which wasn't the easiest to find because they only released it in the last year of CGI motorized existing, before it was discontinued. So it's probably not the easiest to find, and also it was only in sets. And so I decided, why not 3D print my own one? And also, since I already have the push along All Engines Go Carly, and because it is a pretty good model for a Carly's, well, cabin even in the TV series, I decided to just use this model as Carly's cabin for this custom, and I think it turned out pretty well. This model is made using several pieces. I decided to split it into several pieces so that it would maybe fit on a smaller 3D printer, and so that it will need to print so many supports. So of course one of the pieces is this, but that's not important. There is this. This is for the Carly engine to sit in. Then there is this, I don't know, middle piece. I also drew some little details on. Unfortunately, I couldn't really 3D print the stairs and the handrails because, well, not handrails, guardrails, I think, I'm not sure. Because, well, it would just be too complicated. And this thing actually spins pretty well. Of course, it doesn't spin as well when Carly is inside it, but whatever. And then, of course, there are these two legs here. Yeah, there's not a lot I can say about them because they are just simple legs. And yes, I think that's everything. So I'm just before I end the custom showcase, I need to show this one last thing that I forgot to include with the other 3D printed customs. And it is these replacement wheels for Trackmaster coaches that have these stupid geared wheels. So these were introduced around 2020, maybe a year earlier. And they're really stupid because they make the coaches and the tracks roll less smoothly than they could have if the wheels were just smooth. So I'm just going to let this coach roll on this curve. It gets stopped like immediately, which is incredibly annoying, and it also makes the train go slower, and it's just really annoying to deal with. But these wheels, you can replace them with the ones that I just made, and it's incredible how much smoothly this coach rolls now. So yes, I definitely recommend that you print these. That's everything, so I'm just going to put the camera here, and wow, it's a mess, I know. But yeah, so everything that is here, you can have too. All the models are free to download, and if you want me to make some small mods, for example, if you think that I didn't portray the slow machine's shape in the correct way, or if you want me to change something, make car a little or whatever, you can just message me either here or on Twitter or on Tinkercad, the site where I put all my models. And also, regarding some of the customs that are basically engines, hold on, let me just get my flatbed. I have also made alternate versions of these so that you could put them in other things. So, for example, I made a thread which can sit on the go-kart using it as a chassis, and I also made a thread which can use Rocky's front car as a chassis. And I made a Glyn that could use a flatbed as a chassis. I made Neil that can use Rocky's front car or the flatbed as a chassis. And also I think a cargo car. I'm not sure, maybe I deleted that one on accident, I'm not sure. But yeah, some of these have alternate versions, so just go on my profile and look at everything if you have a flatbed or anything that you could use as a chassis. And yeah, that's everything. If you have any complaints, message me, but I already said that. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you for watching.